Welcome everybody, this is Cold Wheels and welcome to the second tutorial of the series Beginning Programming for Hacking. In this tutorial we'll go over the basic concepts in Python along with a networking program to end the tutorial with. Now I'd like to note that we're not going to explain what we've already explained in the last video, including the chmodding, executing files, what are the permissions on a file, and what are the three things that will access your file. All of this we explained it already in the last video, so we're not explaining it again since this will be a waste of time. Now, since I said we'll be using we'll be using Python, a lot of you may be tempted to use the idle. And, well, I'll not be using the idle here, I'll be using the terminal. Since in many hacking situations you'll not have access to the GUI, you'll only have access to the terminal, the CLI, command line interface, and you are forced to write your scripts in the terminal. Now, another thing why I'm using the terminal is to give you a sense of writing Python scripts in a terminal, because there will be a lot, well, not a lot, but few tweaks or differences between writing the Python script in the idle or in the terminal. Since in the terminal you have to have the shebang, you have to make the file executable, and you have to chmod it, while in the idle takes care of everything. And cd Python tutorials. And in worse situations in hacking, you might even be forced to use file redirection, which is, for example, echo your print or your any Python command in these quotations. So this is the Python command, and then output it to a script name .py. Since you can't use a text editor, for example, that happens in many hacking situations. Now let's go here in nano first prog. That's pi. The shebang here is user bin Python and not bin bash. And we print, hi, I am learning Python. And we chmod at 755 first prog / first prog, and it says hi, I'm learning Python. Now this demonstrates that print is the same as echo in bash. Well, let me make this always on top. Echo, hi, I am learning Python. And the print is the same as echo in bash, it just outputs what it's given to. And, well, there is a difference, however, between Python outputting and bash outputting, and it is that, well, in echo you can type everything without the quotations. Hi, I am learning bash, for example, and it says hi, I'm learning bash. And to show that bash is not biased toward its language, you can also output hi, I am learning Python without the quotations, and it outputs just as fine. You can also output that with single quotations, and it is hi, I am learning Python. We already went over this in the last video, and here you can only put your text in double quotations or single quotations, but you can't put them in no quotations. You must enclose them in quotations whatsoever. And that's the difference. Nano name age.py. Let's go to a more interesting example. And, well, nano name age.py. Include the shebang user bin Python, and, well, let's say the name equals row input. Wow, what am I making? A lot of mistakes today. Row input, please enter your name, and the age equals input, please enter your age, and then print hi, name, you are age, and let me remove the space, age years old. And then we chmod that 755 name age.py / name age.py, and wow, that's brilliant. Well, What's the difference? Name says an invalid syntax. Yeah, that's brilliant. I forgot the comma. And dot slash name age.py, and it says please enter your name, and it is called Wheels. Please enter your age. It is, for example, 12, and it says hi, called Wheels. You're 12 years old. And this demonstrates that to get input from Python, you use row input or input. And the difference is, well, this is a hash and that's a comment, just like in Bash. And row input takes strings or reads strings. And what is a string? A string is a set of characters, for example, called Wheels, or let me enclose that, quotations, or you can say, for example, it is mole, or you can say the big car 107. These are all strings, and they are a set of characters, as you can say, and the input is different. It takes numbers. So, for example, 9 or 0, 4, 5, 6, or this number, really anything as long as it is a number. And that's the difference, and that's why we use row input to get the name, since it accepts a set of characters or string, and that's called Wheels. And the age equals input because it accepts only numbers, and it is 12. And in Python, you write the variable outside quotation. So if I say hi, name, you are age, years old, and this name will be equal to the value that the user supplies, is called Wheels, so it prints hi, called Wheels. Your age, this age will be the value that the user submits, which is 12, and it says you are 12 years old. So you put the variables outside quotations to designate that, hey Python, I'm using variables here. Well, that's pretty good. But this program is absolutely useless because, well, you say hi someone and you are 12 years old. Everybody knows how old is he. And hence we're going to change this program and kill 3 birds with 1 stone in a single program. And that's if age is equal to 10, you print, well, you are accepted in the league. Else if, and notice that's the same as Bash, except for the parentheses instead of the double brackets, and for the colon instead of the semicolon, then print you are already in the league. And finally else, and there's only one case where the age is less than 10, sorry, you do not qualify. And let's do this one more time. What's your name? Called Wheels, my friend, and please enter your age. It's 12, you're already in the league. And, well, if it's 10, wow. Well, if it's 10, you're accepted in the league. My name's 10, and I'm 10 years old. And if my name is anything, and please enter your age, it is less than 10, for it says, sorry, you do not qualify. Now what happens here is, well, if age is equal to 10, and remember the double equal is for comparison, you are accepted in the league. And if age is greater than 10, you're already in the league, and else print, sorry, you do not qualify. Now notice the indentation. The indentation here is unlike Bash. It's not for the readability of code, it's mandatory in Python. And the practice in Python is putting 2 spaces, but the number of spaces is optional. Totally optional. If you put 1 space, it's good. As long as it is indented, it is fine. But if you don't indent that, the interpreter will complain that I expected an indented block here, and it says expected an indented block. So keep that 2 spaces if you want to be a friend of the programmers. And, well, the last thing we're doing to the... ouch. Well, no problem. And the last thing we're doing to the program here is, since the program asks what is your name and then does absolutely nothing to your name, we're just going to print hi name and called Wheels, and your age it's 10, and it says hi called Wheels, you're accepted in the league. And another interesting aspect of the Python is it automatically inserts a space between your string and the variable. So for example, I don't have to type that here, hi space name, and if I do this, it will actually insert two spaces, and it inserted the space that you wrote in the string along with the automatic space insertion, which Python already does. Now that's good. Well, this makes a lot of people who came from the C family language fall. For example, in print if in C, you type hi and then %s comma name, and this you leave a space. Don't worry about this for now, but you leave a space here just so that your output becomes hi cold wheels, and if you don't leave a space, your output is hi cold wheels all concatenated together, which is ugly. And this happens in Java using the system.out.println or system.out.print, and happens in C++ using cout. So you have to leave a space here, but Python automatically leaves the space for you. Now the last interesting thing that we're going over this program is, well, if I give it a cold wheels as a name, and in input it expects a number, and I say, well, I'm 10 years old, it says, well, 10 is not defined. Since it is not a variable, it is not defined in the module. This script is called a module, and you can call that a program, a script, or a module, and it is not a number. However, since it said it is not defined, it means that we can input something that is defined in the module. For example, if I say cold wheels, and name is a variable defined in the module, so if I say name, it says hi cold wheels, you are already in the league. But why does this happen? It's because it creates your age as name variable, and name is already cold wheels. Now this translates to something greater than 10, so it says you're already in the league. So if you want to know further how input deals with the script, you can Google that out, and well, that's all for the program. So let's make the last program, which is simple connect.py. User bin python import socket, and well, host equals raw input please enter a host to connect to, and port equals normal input, since port is number anyway. Please enter a port to connect to, and we here initialize a socket. S equals socket dot socket. Amazing typing today. Socket dot socket, socket dot af init, socket dot sock stream, and we test if the connection is successful. If s dot connect host port, then print port is open. Else, if the connection is not successful, then print port is closed. Now this will do the following. Well, first, what's an import? Well, think of Python as a mechanic. A mechanic can do so much with his bare hands, but there are things that he can do except if he has the right tools. And this socket, well, you can think of it as a bag that contains the tools necessary for the networking operations, so that Python can make the networking operations, make a socket, or use the connect command, I mean the connect function, or the connectx function, as you will see. So this tells Python, hey Python, please fetch me the socket bag, but well, it's not bag in programming anymore, it's library. It's called a library. And these s equals socket.socket, socket.af, hinet, socket.sockstream creates a TCP socket, and this requires basic networking knowledge. If you don't know what a socket is or what a sock stream is, then please Google that out, since it is not explained here. If s.connect host port, well, if the connection is successful, or at least that's what the code implies, if s.connect on the specified host and the specified port, then print port is open, and well, else print port is closed, because that's the only case. However, this program is faulty, and if we chmod that 755 simpleconnect.py and /simpleconnect, it says please enter a host, and let's say it's the local host, and please enter a port to connect to. We say it's 80. It says connection refused, and it gives an error. This is because the connect does not return true or false, which means that after the operation, the connect does not have the value of true or false. So we can't use it in an if conditional. We must use a function that returns true or false when the connection succeeds or if it fails. So connect X to the rescue, and this, well, if the connection is successful, connect X has a return value of 0 or is equal to 0, and this in Python is false. Else, if the connection is not successful, let me write that here, if the connection is not successful, then connect X returns the value of 1, and this in Python is true. Wow. Actually, any other number than 0, even -1, is true in Python. And that's why we're going to use the connect X. And well, if the connection is successful, if the connection fails first, then connect X has a value of 1, and the if block is executed, and the port is closed, since the connection is not successful. Else, if the connection is successful, then the if is not executed, since the connect X has a value of 0, and the else is executed, and the port is open. Now if we try this, /simpleconnect, and we get the localhost on port 80, it says port 80 is closed. If I start the Apache 2 service, which by default operates on port 80, and then try again to connect to the localhost on port 80, it says port 80 is open. If I, to ensure that the Apache service is up and running, you can use the Apache 2 status, and it says here active running. To exit out of that, you type Q, and we're going to kill the Apache service, Apache 2 stop, and we again see the status, and it says inactive since it's dead. We killed it. And if we again try to connect on 127.0.0.1, and that's not a number since it has 2 decimal points, and that's why we also use row input, and the 127.0.0.1 is the local host. On port 80, it all says that it is closed. You can also be in Google, for example, and we have its IP address, and we'll say /simpleconnect, and we give the host, which is Google, and on port 80, it says port 80 is open, since you obviously can browse to Google, and that's port 80. If we use, for example, this and port 21, which is FTP, it says port 21 is open. And if we use a random port, which is, for example, 8779, it says, well, this port is closed. And it takes time to connect to this port, and then the Google returns connection refused and says port 8779 is closed. Here you go with the socket definition. What's a socket? Well, a socket is a combination of host and port. For example, when I said, well, it's the local host on port 80, that's a socket. Or when I used 127.0.0.180, that's a socket. Or when I used the Google on port FTP, which is 21, it said, well, connection successful, and that was a socket too. So this is a socket, the combination of the host and port. Well, this concludes our tutorial, and remember, it was a short one with a simple networking program. And if you feel like anything was hard, then please write that in the comments, or you can email me at martinwilson5000@gmail.com. Well, until the next tutorial, see you guys later.